You woke up this morning in a bed, not on the ground, not shivering under a bridge. You turned on a light without thinking about it because electricity is so reliable, you only notice it when it stops. You probably drank clean water from a tap, something that would have seemed like magic to your ancestors. Before you even left your bedroom, you experienced luxuries emperors couldn't access 200 years ago. But did you notice? Did you feel grateful? Or did you immediately start cataloguing everything that's wrong, everything you don't have, everything that's not going according to plan? Most of us live in conditions our great-grandparents would consider paradise, while experiencing levels of dissatisfaction they would find incomprehensible. This isn't because modern life is secretly terrible. It's because we've trained ourselves to focus on what's absent rather than what's present, on what could be better rather than what already is, on the gap between our reality and our imagined ideal rather than the gap between our reality and much worse alternatives. Gratitude is the practice of reversing this attention. Not by denying that things could be better, not by pretending problems don't exist, but by consciously recognizing what's actually here, what's actually working, what you have access to that you didn't earn through any merit of your own. Your mind evolved to scan for threats, not to appreciate what's going well. Your ancestors, who noticed the one thing that could kill them, survived. Those who spent time appreciating the 99 things that were fine often didn't notice the danger until it was too late. This threat detection system served humans well when survival was constantly at stake. But most of us no longer live where a moment of inattention could mean death. We live in relatively safe circumstances where our threat detection system has nothing real to focus on, so it invents threats. Your mind will find something to worry about, something to be dissatisfied with, because that's what minds do. If your external circumstances are good, your mind will turn inward and find problems with your body, your relationships, your career, your past choices, your future prospects. The quality of your actual circumstances has remarkably little impact on your mind's determination to find inadequacy somewhere. This is why wealthy people can be miserable and why people living in genuine hardship can experience profound joy. External circumstances matter less than we think. What matters more is the relationship you have with whatever circumstances you're experiencing. Gratitude doesn't change your circumstances. It changes your relationship with your circumstances. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he was dealing with plague, war, betrayal, and the constant pressure of governing an empire. Yet he filled his private writings with reminders to appreciate what he had. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He wasn't pretending his life was easy. He was choosing to recognize that even a difficult life contains elements worth appreciating. That consciousness itself is extraordinary. That the ability to think and feel is a gift no amount of difficulty negates. The Stoics understood you always have a choice about where to place your attention. Not unlimited choice, not complete control, but meaningful choice. You can focus on what you lack or what you have. You can dwell on what's wrong or acknowledge what's right. Both perspectives are technically accurate. Your life genuinely contains both problems and blessings, lacks and abundances. Which ones you focus on doesn't change the facts, but it changes your experience of those facts dramatically. Consider your morning routine. You can experience brushing your teeth as a tedious chore, or you can experience it as evidence that you have teeth to brush, access to clean water, a home with a bathroom, and time to care for yourself. The facts haven't changed, but your relationship with those facts shifts completely depending on where you place your attention. This principle scales to everything. Your job can be experienced as drudgery or as the means by which you house and feed yourself. Your body can be experienced as a collection of flaws or as the vehicle through which you experience existence. Your relationships can be experienced as sources of disappointment or as evidence that you're not alone. The circumstances remain the same. Your experience transforms based on what you choose to emphasize. But gratitude isn't just about feeling better. It's about seeing more accurately. When you focus exclusively on what's wrong, you're seeing a filtered version of reality where problems are amplified and blessings are invisible. When you practice gratitude, you're not putting on rose-colored glasses. You're taking off the dark glasses you didn't realize you were wearing. The world contains both difficulty and beauty, both suffering and joy. Gratitude is the practice of seeing the full picture rather than just the portion your threat detection system highlights. Seneca observed that people spend their lives chasing more, convinced that satisfaction lies in the next achievement. But satisfaction never arrives because the goalposts keep moving. You think you'll be satisfied when you get the promotion, but once you get it, you're already focused on the next level. You think you'll be content at a certain income, but once you reach it, your expenses expand and you feel just as stretched. You think you'll be happy when you find the right relationship, but once you find it, you start noticing its imperfections. This isn't because your goals were wrong. It's because satisfaction doesn't come from acquiring what you don't have. It comes from appreciating what you already have. Seneca argued that the wealthy person isn't the one with the most possessions, but the one who needs the least. The person who can feel genuine appreciation for their current circumstances has achieved something no amount of acquisition can provide: sufficiency. This doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue meaningful goals. It means if you can't feel gratitude for what you currently have, you won't feel gratitude for what you acquire next. The problem isn't what you have. The problem is your relationship with having. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, regularly imagining losing what they had. Not to make themselves miserable, but to appreciate what they had while they still had it. They understood that today's luxury becomes tomorrow's expectation, that appreciation fades unless deliberately maintained. When you imagine losing your health, you appreciate the body you have now, even with its limitations. When you imagine losing your home, you appreciate the shelter you take for granted. When you imagine losing the people in your life, you appreciate their presence while they're still here. This practice isn't morbid. It's realistic. Everything you have is temporary. Everyone you love will eventually be gone, or you will. The question is whether you'll appreciate what you have while you have it, or whether you'll only recognize its value in retrospect. Most people postpone gratitude, waiting until circumstances improve before allowing themselves to feel satisfied. But circumstances never improve enough to trigger automatic gratitude. There's always something more to want, something more to fix. The only way to experience gratitude is to practice it now, with things as they are, including all the problems and imperfections that come with being alive. You have consciousness. You have this moment. You have the capacity to think, feel, and choose how you relate to your experience. You have access to comforts that would seem miraculous to humans throughout most of history. You have problems, yes, but you also have resources for addressing those problems that most people never had. These facts don't solve your problems. They don't make your life perfect, but they're true, and they're worth acknowledging. Today's Stoic game plan. Morning acknowledgement. Before you check your phone, name 3 things in your immediate environment that make your life easier than it could be. Appreciate the ordinary. Choose one routine activity today and consciously notice what would need to be different for that activity to be impossible. Appreciate that it's possible. Practice negative visualization. Spend 2 minutes imagining losing something you take for granted. Then notice how you feel about having it right now. Evening reflection. Before sleep, identify one difficult thing about today and one thing that went well. Write both down. Notice which one your mind naturally emphasized. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging that even imperfect lives contain elements worth appreciating, that even difficult circumstances includes some blessings. That consciousness itself, with all its problems and possibilities, is extraordinary. The question isn't whether your life is perfect. It's whether you can appreciate what it includes while working to improve what needs improving. Practice gratitude. Not as performance, not as obligation, but as the simple act of noticing what's actually present in your life alongside everything that's absent. This noticing won't solve your problems, but it will change your relationship with your life in ways that solving all your problems never could.